Cool. So with that, Nina, let's dive into it. So basically, can you, to get started, like it would be good if for everyone that is attending us here on Zoom or joining us from the Facebook group, if you can give us a bit of an overview about your business and about you. What do you do? And yeah, let's just start there.
Okay, sure. So my interest in marketing stemmed from being a business owner myself and not being excellent at what I did, but not understanding about where do I find clients? How do I let people, random people, know what I do and why it will benefit them and be of value to them? And so this is, way back. So without really any budget, because most startups and small businesses don't have budget, I tried to lots of different things and refined it down until I got to the process where I became almost like at the flick of a button, I could turn on leads or even engage prospects. And then I had some kind of automation in the conversion. I tried to systemize it as much as possible, working solo, and bring them in, and for it to be a valuable exchange. And so from there, that's, I just applied that to high tech when that came of age. And then I've gradually worked. I've been a CEO of a quoted public listed company and 2 private companies. I was a CMO for many, many years. I was on the original launch board of Glossybox, which is now the largest beauty box in the world. And we grew it from 0 to 92,000 monthly paying subscribers in about 7 months. I've done a lot of startups and a lot of product launches. So I would say those are my core competencies: copy, lead generation, and then conversion. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's generally what I do. The range of my clients range from best-selling Sunday Times bestseller authors who I write copy for and manage product development for, all the way through to social media and the more kind of traditional marketing services that we do.
Yeah. Okay. So like Lenny says in the chat, this is not your first rodeo. Definitely not.
No.
You do have quite some experience in marketing and in business.
38
so that
years,
is amazing.
Actually.
Yeah. And so you currently...
They start them young in Europe.
Yes. And so currently you own and correct me if I'm wrong, you own the marketing agency Thrive Market Leader?
Thrive Market Leader, that's correct, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And what kind of companies or clients do you specialize in?
So Thrive Market Leader, I think really is quite attractive to small to mid-sized businesses because we have a very personal touch with that. And we do have a lot of clients where it is their first rodeo and they don't understand CRM. They don't have, an automation platform. They don't have any systemization and they don't know, really understand about the whole CRM process. Right through to clients who've been using ClickFunnels and things for years and then will improve that. So on the corporate side, I do have some blue chip clients. And again, I generally work on country audit, market audit, and give them a strategy about how to enter a market or a region of the world, what positioning they should take, what pricing strategy, and how they should handle their NPD rollout for those first few years.
Okay, great. And today, basically, just so for everyone in the audience, we're going to be talking about a specific campaign that Nina was working on for the client, Elixiri Hello Glow. That's the name of the client, right?
The name of the client is Elixiri. The name of the campaign was Hello Glow. Okay,
is that the product itself? Hello Glow?
No, it's just the name of the campaign, Hello Glow.
Okay.
It's a Swiss skincare company.
Okay, and so what made you use UpViral for this company, for this client of yours?
So Elixiri is a very niche brand. They, like many brands, exist in the cloud. but not virtually, not in reality, in real life. So they have, teams of people that are in different locations around the world, and all of their IP exists in the cloud. So I think for them, their leadership was very experienced in working with investors and funding and all of the things you do from the C-suite side. But they were experiencing very slow growth, like a low volume of sales on a monthly basis. They had very low activity in terms of direct marketing and social engagement. And they'd fallen into that, almost like a trap really, that most small brands do, which is they try to emulate very big brands. So they have a newsletter, which is really just a sales, email that they send out. And the sales email will have some offers and some promotions and some various things in it. And so what happens over time with these small companies is that every time they send out a newsletter and people take action and they measure that action, what they're actually doing is that they're training their list to respond to discounts. So every time they do that, they lose profit, right? Because every time you make an offer, you lose a little bit of profit, right? 20% or whatever it is. So after you're doing that for 6 to 12 months or however long it is, or several years in their case, and this has been the case with almost every small company I've found, is that they've got them on this, kind of newsletter, subscribe to the newsletter and get 20% off. And they receive newsletters and people respond and they click the link and they measure the click-through rates and then they measure the conversions. But what they're actually doing is training their audience to only respond when they send them an offer, right? They're not teaching them how to be good customers. They're not teaching them what the value that they want to see in their customers. They're not investing in their customers. So what you have is this kind of really almost wrung out audience, wrung out list at the end of it, where the only time that sales are being made is when a promotion is on. And obviously that the tolerance to promotions builds, right? So that when you offer them 10% at the beginning, there's a big uptake, but then people want more. So then you have to give them 50%, 15%, and then maybe 20%, and then a free gift, and then it's a free gift and some bonuses to take action now. And in the end, what they end up doing is they end up giving too much away. And then the audience is trained only to respond to these promotions. So you're eking out the profit from the company. Then you have no dollars to invest in CRM or NPD or anything else, right? So that was their problem, is they had a very, very small list. It was a high quality list, and I'll get into details about that later. But it was very unresponsive when it came to newsletters, because they were at the point where the audience just wasn't responding unless it was something incredible. And so more than anything, they needed sales, right? So that in order to get sales, you first need to have acquisition. And then from acquisition, you then need to develop rapport. You then need to invest in the relationship. And then as a result of that value, the client will tell you how much they value you by spending money in your company. So we used UpViral for the acquisition.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so that gives us a clear overview of the problem and what you guys were trying to achieve. And so before using UpViral to accomplish this end goal, did you or the company itself try some other strategies apart from obviously doing the newsletter discounts, or from there you spotted the problem and you decided that UpViral could be a solution?
Well, from the brand side, the C-suite there were cosmetic executives. So they were used to working in an environment where it's all above the line marketing, right? So it's all big dollar ad spend. And so on a tactical level, really the strategy wasn't really in place is the first problem. And if you don't have a strategy in place or even an objective, then your tactics aren't going to work, right? Because what are they supporting to deliver? So on the tactical level, they were doing I'd say maybe a monthly or a 6-weekly newsletter, and maybe, infrequent posting on social, maybe once a week or so on social. Facebook is the stronger platform for them because they have quite a direct engagement with their audience, and Instagram is a weaker one. But I think because of their background, which I find with a lot of small companies, is they're overly conscious about their image, about how they're perceived. So all of the posts were very corporate, you know, they were professionally done graphics or beautiful photography done by a professional photographer. But it was a little bit clinical. It was very clinical, in fact. And the brand didn't have any warmth in it, right? There was no warmth, no connection. They had it in bucket loads, but it wasn't being presented that way through their public domains.
They couldn't communicate it properly.
They couldn't communicate that, absolutely. And I think there was some reservation about communicating that as well, for whatever reason. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, is how much of themselves do they show, you know, to the public. But of course the public's fascinated in that. The more they want to get to know you, you know, do you have a cat, do you have children, where do you live, you know, what do you do, where do you go on holiday, what car do you drive, you know, do you support this, do you support that? That's of endless fascination to your audience, and really they want to get to know you on a very personal level.
And that's what builds rapport, and they get to know, like, and trust you. Yes, absolutely.
The more you know, the more personable you are, the better it is. The more you know, you can spend as much as you want, but unless you are connecting with them in a very real way that they can relate to, as if you were somebody they just met in a coffee shop and you had a casual chat, that's really what they're after. And you know, a lot of smaller brands that lack the experience think that they have to behave like Mercedes-Benz or a very corporate brand that has very clinical advertising.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. And then let's now like shift and start talking about the campaign that you run with them, with Elixir. So you did a contest with them. Can you tell us for how many days or weeks did you run this contest?
Okay, so there's a little bit of a story behind this. Initially, the contest, and when we say contest, we mean competition. Okay, the competition was going to be run for between 6 to 8 weeks. But what happened is the promotion and the distribution of the campaign went viral, right? Which is what we've worked really hard to make it do. It went viral really quickly. We took about 10 days to build it, and then once it hit viral, it just went off like wildfire. And the client, it scared them, because they saw how many opt-ins were coming in, and it scared them because it was more than they've ever had in the history of their company. And so what they did is they closed the campaign after 3 weeks, less than halfway through.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the initial plan was to run it for 6 to 8 weeks, but so they were scared because of the amount of
3 weeks to the day. 21 days.
Wow.
21. If we kept going for the initial plan, because the viral effect hadn't peaked at that point, it was still accumulating and increasing, right? So once you get to the peak, then the momentum dies off a little bit, and you have like the late adopters coming in, right? Like your third and fourth away from that initial contact, but it was still on the way up. So I think had we not closed it early on day 21, then I think probably we'd have had something in the way of double to maybe 3 times what we did get. And as an agency owner and running this campaign from them, didn't you have the opportunity or to discuss with them and say, hey, it's actually a good thing that your brand is going viral and that you're getting all these people in from the campaign? Let's keep it running for 6 to 8 weeks like the initial plan. It will pay off in the end. Did you have that conversation or not? AJ, I'll get back to you about how do you know when the viral effect kicks in. If I don't answer your question, please do let me know. Give me a nudge and I'll answer it, okay? Definitely. So actually, I guess it exposed a bit of a weakness, a bit of an error on our part as an agency, because we had never considered what happens if the campaign is too successful. as far as we're concerned, we're given, you know, an objective that the client wants to achieve, and we just do everything we can to make that objective deliverable, right? Although you can't guarantee it. And so we'd never ever really considered what happens if it's too successful. And so we've considered that now, and we actually offer a service which is like post-contest. We offer a service to actually even write a whole follow-up campaign, to, you know, import the list into their autoresponder and clean it and do an initial follow-up or a bounce back, depending on what the campaign was about. But in those days, and this was going back a few years, we didn't offer that because we'd never considered before that the client wouldn't want the most successful outcome. But actually, there are a lot of clients that don't want a highly successful outcome. They think they do, but when you get there, they just don't have, it scares them. They don't have the ability to process all of that data effectively. And I guess, you know, they have that sense of loss of not being able to optimize the results that they've got.
Absolutely. Well, I find the story fascinating, that it was planned to be a 6 to 8 week campaign, and they cut it back on 21 days. And especially when they had that problem of slow growth and they wanted to overcome it. I guess it was a bit too much outside their comfort zone in one go. Too
much outside their comfort zone. Absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head. Although it seems very far-fetched, it's happened since then a few times. We've done campaigns for brands, and if it's outside their comfort zone, you know, because they've told themselves what to expect, and they've told themselves, oh, you know, we've tried everything and we've never gotten results beyond this, so if you can do that, that will be amazing. And then you reach the results, you know, that are outside of their comfort zone within a couple of weeks, and then they get, you know, really uncomfortable because they don't know what to do. So the way that we've developed as an agency is we do a lot more coaching with our clients now, all the way through. You know, as you know, some clients can be very bloody minded about egotistic. They have an egotistical way of managing their business and, you know, controlling their teams, and that's when it doesn't work very well. But if they are, you know, a kind of, well, step aside and I'm coachable, and, you know, show me what we need to do to make the most of it, that works quite well. And we're ready for that now. And as I say, we have these additional services, because if you're a brand and you're used to managing, you know, 500 opt-ins a month to your newsletter, and all of a sudden you get 25,000, then okay, what are you going to do with that? And just down to the little things like the way that the data was formatted. I mean, it's really easy to apply data reformatting to a sheet or something, or a CSV format, but, you know, they didn't have the skill set to format the data in the way, like in the star data, in the star field way that they would usually do to upload to their autoresponder. I mean, most autoresponders automatically sort the fields for you anyway. You can assign it the value as you upload the sheet. Yeah.
Wow, but it is an amazing lesson for all the business owners out there. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable if you want to experience massive growth.
Big wake-up call is, that is, we've actually found that the prep for the campaign is pretty easy, because we've done it, you know, we've done it loads of times before. We know exactly what works because we've done it in every market, in most verticals and most regions of the world. So we pretty much know what works. Even if the brand doesn't have a clue with who their core avatar is, we pretty much have an idea, and we can, you know, align it to that. In terms of key messages, graphics, content, copy, etc., and the offer itself. But the most important thing now we focus on is like keeping the campaign going, right? To keep that energy high, and also post-campaign is a big one.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, and then in regards to the campaign, what was the main prize that you gave away? For
so the main prize was a set of skincare, skincare serums. Yeah.
Which is that their product? Do they sell it in their business?
It's their product. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. So you went for their own product as the prize of the competition. Any specific reason why you went for their product as a prize?
They weren't really open to anything else. I think, you know, they thought that in order to acquire and grow their list, they needed to offer what they offer rather than something else of value. And I think that just comes from knowing your avatar. If you really know your avatar, you know what they align with, you know what you know, you see those trends and interests that they have, that are always, you know, similar. You see the commonalities in your avatars, but I think for them, they didn't really have an idea of that. And so the most simple thing was to offer the product. And actually, you know, people really it's a fantastic product and people really like it. It probably was a little bit narrow, and there may have been some other things that we could have offered, but that was a good choice to go for. And we were able to also use the product for runners-up prizes, and then we actually did a bounce back as well at the back end of that. Okay,
yeah, we'll dive into that later. But for now, can you tell us a bit about the results you got from the campaign? What were the overall results in this 21-day competition?
Shall I get into figures now, into statistics?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Talk about the numbers.
So this is a company with quite a small list, so about 2,000 or so on their list, which is fine. If it's a valuable list, you can still generate a good six-figure income from that list in terms of sales. So let me just open my screen here. In 20 days, we got almost 16,000 visits, unique visits to the landing page, which is pretty amazing considering the size of this company and their previous level of activity in marketing and direct marketing. From there, we captured 3,311 opt-ins, all right, which is a 21% aggregated conversion. What's most striking about this, and there's a real shocker in a moment, I'm going to tell you, what's most striking about this, that 2,213 of them were direct leads and 1,098, so almost 1,100 were referrals, which is just insane, right? 50% of them were referrals. Now I know, you know, like referrals are normally single figures, like 3%, 5%, something like that. So on this one, we got 50% referrals in the campaign, which was amazing. Wow. Really impressive.
So 3,311 leads in total, from which 1,098 were referred.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a really good direct to referral ratio.
It's huge, absolutely huge.
Okay.
And when we imported and cleaned the list, there was a really low rate of duplication. So in other words, a lot of direct leads were not already in their list. And there's a reason for that, which I'll tell you in a moment. So actually, you could say that some of this was warm because they maybe had heard of Elixiri before, but were not on the list. But most of it was cold.
Yeah.
Okay. When we imported the list, actually, 6 months later, most of them were still there, still subscribing, still, you know, part of the list.
Wow, that's great. After 6 months. Yeah. Okay.
After 6 months, and even after 12, we checked in on them again. The most surprising thing about these statistics is that the offer we put on the back end of the follow-up campaign was so what I call an irresistible offer that the company got a little bit nervous about offering it to their existing list because they felt the offer was too good. So they decided at the last minute not to send this competition to their list at all.
Okay.
So when we launched it, obviously when you launch your campaign, the first place it goes is to the list, right?
Yeah.
We only launched it on Facebook and then a little bit on Instagram, and that was it.
Only Facebook and Instagram. Okay. And with that, you got the initial traction with direct leads, which then led to all the referred leads as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And then after the campaign, did you have any offers? I know you're a big fan of automations. Did you have any sales campaigns going on after the contest had finished?
So when they came in, we had you know, the kind of the UpViral sort of more generic emails. We put an irresistible offer link in those emails there. So for the initial sign up one, and then also for you know, the points basis one. And that's all we did, is the 3 in there. But they had they were using, I think, MailChimp at the time. I think they still might be. Not my favorite platform, I have to say. Of all the automation platforms, they're using MailChimp. So I set up a follow-up campaign in there. It was 9 emails sent over probably about 20 days. Okay. And it was part indoctrination, like an onboarding, right? Building rapport, building trust. Who are we? What do we stand for? You know, what do we need from you? How do we make you feel? But there was also an irresistible offer in there. And then if people took up the offer, there was a bounce back. So there was a follow-up to the follow-up. There was a bounce back campaign after the follow-up. So I think, you know, really they went for sales too early. Their product is quite expensive, and you know, it kind of threw marketing 101 out the window. Whereas, you know, your first transaction is a trust building transaction. It's usually below $10, then your next one, and then, you know, you stage it up. So for cold traffic, or even if it was kind of tepid, let's say tepid traffic, some of it was warm, you know, you've just acquired the client, you're indoctrinating them, you're bringing them on board, and then you're hitting them for a say a $180, $200 sale. So I think, you know, but that, again, that was something that they wanted to do. And really, we wanted to put more steps and a little bit more time to build the relationship in between. But we still got enough sales conversions on that first follow-up campaign to for the campaign to wash its face. I mean, basically it was a break even. And obviously when you're acquiring, you don't expect a transaction on the first go round, right? You build the relationship and you invest in it. And then you extract the value later on.
And it's also typical from e-commerce that when you first like create campaigns, whether that is like through a competition or through Facebook ads, Instagram ads, that typically like the first sale that is generated from that customer is just around the break-even point, and then all the profits, they come with the repeat purchases after having had a good experience with your product. They come and purchase again, and that is then pure profit because you already paid for customer acquisition.
That's absolutely right, William. That's absolutely how it should be. And again, you know, if you're listening now as a brand, that's something you need to take on board. And if you're listening as an agency or a service provider, that's something that you need to coach the clients in, because some of them will not necessarily know that, and you need to hold them back from trying to cash out on the relationship, you know, within a week of this person coming into their list. It doesn't work like that. If you know, the faster you rinse your list, the less value you're going to build into it. So you kind of need to hold them back a little bit, really. Like William says, do a kind of break even, just a small transaction to build the value and the trust. And then, you know, the sales will come in the follow up. And then, you know, the increasing escalation or the cross category spend that they have as they grow with you.
Okay, cool. Absolutely. And do you know, like from the top of your head, roughly what are the numbers of sales that were generated to get to that break-even point?
I can do a quick calculation because I know what the top package was, which was 253. So 2.5. It was about so it would be, let me convert it into dollars. So it's about $4,900.
$4,900 you generated in direct sales from this competition. Wow. Okay. That's great. That's amazing. So $5,000 in sales, break-even point, and then you have again, 3,300 leads that you can continue leveraging and generate sales from.
It was break even on the campaign, as in, you know, all of the people they brought in to do the custom photography, which wasn't really necessary, and the custom graphics and all of that. But actually, if you're doing marketing ROI on the ROAS, then it's way over, because our budget for paid social was $500.
The budget for paid social was $500.
Yeah.
And with those $500, you generated 4,900.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
And
then,
and almost 3,500 people on their list, which more than doubled it. Of
That's
which
amazing.
then they went on to grow and get more sales from, you know, over in the future.
Yeah. That's amazing. Like, congratulations on the campaign, seriously.
Yeah, thank you.
That is great results. Cool. So with that, let's actually let's dive into the campaign. Let's have a quick look on the landing page and the share page, which I'm sure people that are watching are eager to dive into.
Are you? Yeah, you're going to take the screen, right? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, or actually, do you want to share the screen and walk us through it?
No, that's fine. I can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
It was actually, this was the most simple campaign. So at the time that we did it, UpViral didn't have these additional things like actions and incentives. Okay. It was like the core, it was still the core basic kind of, well, it wasn't basic, but you know, the core software in those days. So like I said, the client had custom photography done, which was a bit unnecessary, really. But all you needed, and this is of all the formats we've done, and we've done, you know, hundreds of these pages now, the format that works the most is image on the left, form on the right, which when you know, most people accessing it with a smart device, it will stack image first, form underneath. And that just works really well. And the less you say about it, the better. You can, if you want. We've done campaigns where under the submit button, we've written, you know, something about the sponsors and about the prizes and about the company and all of that. People don't really read it anyway. You know, the clients like it because they feel they're getting more value, but nobody kind of goes along the submit button, really. So once once they've submitted, opted in, submitted, they go to the share page, and that's it. Yeah. So this is this format here. If you just remove that bit there, actually, if we go back up and we just look at this, it's the most simple format ever. And it actually works the best for us. So this is the one that we tend to go for. We've had a few competitions where they've been more sophisticated prizes that's been maybe like you know, a consultation or a wardrobe makeover or something like that. And I think people just want tangible physical prizes. That's something they can get really excited about, something that they value. So tangible prizes work best. And also a really simplistic landing page. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Cool. So that is the opt-in page, and then there is here, I see a testimonial, right, from a customer.
I think actually in the original campaign, I think I just had a few keywords there. You know, just a few key benefits of this particular brand. They're kind of strap line, basically. And then the what audience interests on Facebook ads did you show? I'll get to that in a moment, actually, because that's quite interesting. But yeah, we didn't have initially we didn't have that there, but on the follow-up campaign, obviously we built a landing page, which was essentially a long sales, well, it was a short sales letter actually, and we had those in there. And in the email follow-up campaign, which was 9 emails, these social proof and testimonials were, you know, they were very heavy in those emails. It mainly focused on the feedback and the social proof that their clients had given them. So shall I talk about Facebook results here, or?
Let's dive into the share page. Let's have a quick look on the share page, and then we dive into traffic.
Again, share page, really simple.
Preview. Slowly, yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Okay, so again, custom graphics, more custom graphic. As you can see, we weren't particularly generous with the points. Just 5 additional points for each share on various platforms. And I actually think at the time we only had Facebook and Messenger. I don't think we had the other ones in there. So it was quite limited, and that's because really their core platform is Facebook. They do use Instagram, but Facebook is their core one. So that's where we wanted most of the work to be done, most of the sharing.
Okay, and then how many points did you allocate for referrals? Because you got quite a good referral ratio. I think it was 10 actually, 10 points, 10 points for a referral. Okay. Yes, 5 points for sharing, 10 points for a referral. And then I think they got 10 points for sign up, and they got 10 points, and the referral got 10 points. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that is in the share page.
And again, you know, no one is going to be looking at this in this format. Everyone is going to be accessing it. Almost everyone will access it from a smartphone, right?
Yeah.
So again, the image stacks on top, and then you have the share buttons on. Yeah.
Exactly.
In my I don't know if it's just our clients, but nobody ever uses Twitter or LinkedIn or email. Not many use Pinterest. It's mainly Facebook, WhatsApp, and Messenger. And Messenger seems a really popular sharing platform for sure.
So from what we've seen as well, like the biggest conversion rate typically comes from one-to-one messaging platforms, Messenger,
absolutely,
and WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that is the, so we saw the opt-in page and the share page. So you wanted to talk as well about traffic generation. So how did you promote your UpViral campaign?
Okay, so we did a little warm-up to begin with. I got a video of the founders of this brand that they'd done a magazine interview for Vogue a number of years before, and they were answering these questions in a video format. So we edited that down, and we got this really nice video where the founders were saying, you know, giving advice. What advice would you give to your younger self? Okay, so it's advice, you know, to if you could turn back time and give yourself some advice when you're a young person just starting out on your path in life, what advice would you give someone? And it was a really nice, feel good, warm, you know, very genuine piece of footage. So we edited that down to sub 1 minute, and we warmed up the audience with that and kind of gave them a bit of a preview. Something exciting is coming, stay tuned. And then on the following day, so that was on the 6th of June, on the 7th of June, then we posted the main graphic, the main kind of banner, you know, the grand prize with the link, the landing page link. And I think we might have done a bit.ly on it.
Okay. So,
and just literally a minimum amount of text. And I think I might, let me just check. I think I might have a screen grab of that. 1 second. So, where are we? Share post. Yes, I do. So let me just get to the first one, and then I'll share my screen. Yeah, here we go. So shall I take over the screen share?
Yeah, you should be able to share your screen. Okay.
Okay, then. This is, again, you know, everything looked exactly the same. So this is really the only kind of photography that we had, and the client wanted us to lead with this in all of the campaigns. So we managed to squeeze in a few more feel-good ones later on, but this is kind of the core image, really. So we posted this one on Facebook, and it got a lot of conversation. It sparked, I think it was 10 shares, 10 or 20 shares. It had a lot of comments and a lot of interaction on it. Well, interaction for them anyway. And, you know, what we made sure, one of the key factors in the success of helping this to go viral is that we had a lot of direct, we had permission from the brand to do a lot of direct responses. So we were all over Facebook and we were responding to all of the comments, liking stuff, you know, having interactions with people on a personal basis, getting them excited about it. People were automatically tagging their friends on Facebook, and we wanted to create that high energy, that buzz, that excitement that something, you know, really great was happening. And you know, we didn't want them to have FOMO,
Yeah.
so-called fear of missing out. So we made it a cool thing. And the next thing that we did is, if I can share a video, I don't know if, let me just pause my share a minute and line it up.
Sure thing.
So one of the key things that we did is, 1 second. Here we go. I have actually that, let me see if the advice to women.
We're currently seeing your Google Drive with the screenshots. I'm not sure if that's what you want to show.
Yeah, I've stopped the share, so I'm just going to resume it now. Can you see the video?
We can see now a Google Doc with a bunch of links.
No, okay, stop share. Oh, I know why. You have to stop sharing, don't you? And then reshare it as a new screen. Yeah, that's why.
At the moment.
Yeah, can you see it
now
now?
We can see the video. Yes.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Can you turn up volume a bit? Is there more volume?
Sure.
I would tell young women to concentrate on their friendships, and I mean real friendships, not social media friendships. Take it easy, don't stress. I think sometimes women compensate for whatever inequality, gender inequality is out there now. We really compensate by working too hard. I believe the best thing to do is to build relationships, have good friends, stay close with people.
Okay.
Okay.
I see.
So that was how we kicked off the campaign, right? And then let me just find one more, if there's time, to one of the other ones that really made it.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So what we did is we got the client to reach out to, and actually we helped them with this as well. We got them to reach out to all of the customers that they were particularly close to, okay? And we asked them, so I did one first of all to set it up, and then we asked them to go and get the clients to do a little testimonial, right? So hold the product up, and it was called that, you know, like Nina loves or whoever loves, and then you hold up your favorite product and you say why you love it and what it means to you. And I would say that plus the interaction was the key reason why it went viral so quickly, because we got about 15 of those, and we were editing them and pushing them out, and we probably took one piece of footage and created 3 or 4 videos from it, little snippets, 5, 10, 15 seconds, and we were literally posting them, you know, like 8, 9, 10 times a day across Instagram and Facebook. And I've got a few now, if that's okay, if William will let me share that. Is that all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so here's a little compilation. So
and it is fantastic. This is the one for me. My favorite is love the feeling of a new skin just after one night. It's hard for me to tear myself from these two, my favorites. It's great. Love my elixirs with Claire. Miracle, and my favorite by far is the skin meditation. Love it. And I cannot die without it. That's how I feel. Love the product, and you will too. So why do I love Rescue Diver? It is the best hyaluronic acid serum that I've ever used. It is like a blast of freshness in the morning when I come out of my shower. It immediately plumps out these like sort of fine lines around my eyes especially. My teens love it, my husband loves it. In fact, I wish they'd stop using it. Love it.
I've been asked to choose my favorite of the elixir.
Okay, so
It's really hard for me.
I've got you know, a whole reel of those, and as you can see, the idea is that their clients are based globally. We had testimonials from Zurich, from Geneva, from the US, from all over, from London, even from Beirut. And people were presenting it in a very personal way, you know, I love this because it's my moment for me, or, you know, it does this and it does that. So they weren't talking about the product so much and the product's benefits. They were making it very personal and what it meant to them. And, you know, they were really, really feel good. And there's some great ones in there. There's about 15 there. I just put them together for this presentation today. And that took a lot of pushing, you know, to get permission to approach the clients directly, because the brand didn't really have the resources to be able to reach out to, you know, their kind of top clients. So we kind of got a top 25 list from the founders, and we approached them all and we sent them samples. We literally did sample testimonials in our own homes. Just, you know, this is all you need to do.
Yeah.
And then we edited them and we pushed those out every single day of the campaign, and they were popping up everywhere as shares.
Okay, and you were sharing them on Facebook and Instagram, you said, maybe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And also they went in the emails, but as far as they didn't appear in the campaign on the landing page, only on social platforms, and predominantly Facebook, and also social sharing. So we, the client didn't want necessarily to do ads, because again, you know, when they started to see how many leads were coming in, it went from this, you know, when will we start to see results in the first few days, to there's too many results. You know, switch it up, oh my God. Stop button. So I wish it was pause instead of stop, but we had to stop it. I think I probably did one campaign on ads, that was it. And I didn't even use a list. I created an avatar that I thought would be just right for this particular competition, and it turned out to be just right, and that brought in a few more viral sharings. And then also I took those social proof testimonial videos and I did boosts on them, and I did a little bit of targeting there. No keyword targeting, only like audience description, location, age, gender. I didn't do any interests or behaviors, because I knew pretty much what I was looking for with those. And they did really well, you know, thousands and thousands of views. I think even if you don't know these people on these videos, it's such an interesting thing, because what we were talking about earlier of people get to look inside somebody else's life, you know, what's in the background? Oh, there's a dog, there's a cat, you know, look at the background of this person's on the water, this person's in their back garden. So I think it made it really interesting, the fact that it had that real life documentary tone about it.
Absolutely. And user-generated content is super powerful. Like the founder of the company or the employee of the company can talk about how great a product is all day long. But if it comes from the customer and they see that the video is not professionally recorded or edited, it's just like they are in their kitchen or in their garden, just talking about the product, you see that the camera is shaky, then it comes over as real. And that is super powerful when you get other people, to your customers, to talk really well about your product. So that was a very smart move.
And, you know, don't give them a script, give them an idea of what to what not to say, really. Don't talk about the product. If you want to sell a product, don't talk about the product, kind of thing. Talk about what it means to you and how it makes you feel. And, you know, you could see some of those. The one that was set in Geneva, I mean, it was like, you know, potato quality. I mean, some of them were just so grainy. They were awful, but people loved them. They really engaged with them.
Okay, cool. That's super interesting. Thank you for sharing it, and sharing it in such a great detail. That's highly appreciated, Nina. So the next question really that I want to ask you is, like, So people were joining your campaign either from Facebook or from Instagram. So you talked that you were posting it, so you were getting some organic reach, but then also some small campaigns with that $500 budget that you had. Then they were entering your campaign. What did you do during those 21 days or 20 days to keep them engaged during the contest?
So we were all over social media. You know, every time there was a comment, we would reply in a very personal way, not a kind of a customer support way, in a very personal, conversational style way, and use humor with that as well. And you know, kind of more open-ended questions that would encourage them to reply to us. The follow-up campaign was going out from the time they signed up. We started that about halfway through. Okay, so we sent it in 2 batches, the early people, and then, you know, the last 7 days. Well, we didn't know it was going to be 7 days at that point, but it ended up being that way. So the main thing that we were focusing on is encouraging their customers to do these social proof videos for us, editing them and then pushing them out. And that's really what we were focusing on. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And then how did you announce the winner of the, like they posed the campaign? How did you go about announcing the winner?
So I think, do you know, that's an interesting question. I can't remember. I think one of the founders sent a more personal email to the winners to let them know that they'd won. We intended to use, when they received their prize, we intended to use that material to you know, generate more interest, because I think the more you focused post-campaign on the winners and making them feel good, you're kind of priming the audience for more, you know. Especially if you pick up new followers during that, if the brand picks up new followers. But I think at that point, you know, the clients were like, oh, so much is happening, you know, we want to kind of keep it on the down low. So I think we got some unboxing videos, which we edited as stories, and, you know, they were really well received. Yeah.
Okay. So it was mainly done by the founder sending an email to the winner of the competition. Okay. And,
yeah, there was only one grand prize winner, and then I think I reached out to them via email to let them know they'd won, and then they got a personal email from the founder. And then the runners-up we notified also by email.
Yeah. Okay, great. And
obviously to get the delivery address, because they were sending them a physical package.
Obviously.
Yeah.
All right. And if you could, like, there's a bit of a, well, what are the main lessons that this contest has taught you as an agency owner and working with the client? And if you could run it again, like, is there anything that you would do differently from the start, that you would say, no, this needs to be done differently?
So what I did actually is I just created a document. I don't know if this is going to be helpful if I show it as we go through. What do you think?
Oh yeah, insights and learnings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me just increase the zoom a little bit. Okay, so learnings for marketers. Of all the campaigns, we found that the simplest is the best. If you can reduce something down to the simplest form, and the best is to have one key message and to have them take one action on the landing page, that works best. Just keep it really simple, okay? We've had a few campaigns where people have wanted, you know, people to take other actions during the campaign, and we found that they'll take actions, like they'll follow somebody, but if you give them too much, it kind of diminishes them from the core, because the main action you want them to take is, number 1, opt in, and number 2, share it, and just keep them focused on that goal, and then you can always get the other stuff afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Give your audience something they value. Like I've said, competitions that we've done, you know, we've had both something intangible like a service or a consultation on offer, or a style consultation or something like this, or a free download. And you know, the audience, the social media audience, is a little jaded by these offerings. They want real stuff. They want real, what they want is an experience, something that will take them out of themselves, that is appealing to them and their lifestyle. Doesn't necessarily have to be the thing that the company does, but it has to be something that they will value. So that's down to understanding the avatar, the core avatar of this, you know, particular company, and also understanding the objective. What is it they're trying to achieve? Okay. During the campaign, make sure, don't leave it to the client or don't leave it to other people to keep the engagement going, right? Once you've launched the campaign and you're running your ads and you're doing your boosts, you need to help them be on it and to monitor the audiences and manage them, you know, and respond to them. Even if you're using, you know, like ManyChat or something like that, that's fine, but you still need to have real engagement. Let your personality shine through and let them be comfortable with you as well, because you want them to know that real people are behind this, all right? And you're going to give them a good experience. Don't place limits or conditions on the campaign. You know, we've done this where brands have tried to limit the campaign, they've tried to limit the time, they've tried to very last minute, literally the night before, try to change it or add in things or take away things. So lastminute.com never works in marketing. It might make the client feel better that they got something in that they wanted, but it usually detracts from the campaign. So I would never ever change anything that's set. Lastminute.com doesn't work. Systemization is really key. So if you're handling the whole thing for them, then obviously, and you're an agency, you'll have your own infrastructure in place. You'll be able to create the whole follow-up campaign within your CRM. I use ActiveCampaign, and I've in the past I've used Infusionsoft, but it wasn't really necessary for me. So ActiveCampaign is fine. I don't use MailChimp, but a lot of people do. They use the free MailChimp account. And of course, you don't get the CRM benefits there. You just get the basic kind of newsletter format, right? So when I say infrastructure, what do you need? So once they've opted in, you need to welcome them in and thank them and reinforce the fact of, you know, what they've opted into. Get them excited. Don't let them regret it or forget it, and encourage them to share it, because they'll be seen as somebody who, you know, is sharing cool stuff and amongst their friends, right? And you want to get them invested in helping you to promote this competition. So I've noticed recently there are a whole crop of competition influencers, let's call them, on social media, on TikTok and Instagram, and they work solely to promote the best competitions to their audience, and they really push it. And you know, you can get a couple of thousand opt-ins just from that one person. So but look at their audience, right? Don't look at them because you'll get opt-ins, because the numbers don't matter. What matters is the quality. So if their audience profile and their audience behaviors matches what you're trying to achieve, then just give them a knock, say, you know, here's a prize, you know, here's a competition, promote this, these are the links, and they'll usually do it for you. But so what you need is your autoresponder or your CRM platform. You need obviously a follow-up campaign and lots of content. You need onboarding, so that when you're bringing that person in, they don't just opt in and then sit on your list, but you're actually sending them some valuable content about what you do, what you stand for, you know, and how you can add value to their life, right? How you can improve their life for them. You might want to have a back-end offer, but like William said earlier, keep it simple and just, you know, have a break even so that your marketing ROAS is covered. Don't try to go for a big sale right off, but have some kind of onboarding campaign to bring them into the fold, right? You're building a relationship. I found in some instances, the owner of the company will bring you in as an agency to do this for them, but they kind of leave their own regular teams out of it because they want them to focus on the regular business. But that doesn't really work very well. What you need to do is get everybody on board, everyone who's going to collaborate. So for example, if you need the 3PL, the warehouse involved, give them a heads up about what's coming if you're expecting a volume of sales or widgets to go out. Get your Marcoms team engaged with social media engagement and what you're trying to achieve. Any other stakeholders, retailers, wholesalers, you need to lead the briefing, because the client generally won't. You need to get them on board so that everybody is supporting, and that way you're going to get a much better result, right? And then insights for the brands. Again, at the beginning of the campaign, when you're first talking to the client about this, they always want more than they can handle. You know, what do you want from this? Well, we want these sales. Well, you know, this is not for sales. It's more of an acquisition, a growth, a viral kind of either for distribution or acquisition. So what do you want to do? Okay, well, you know, as many as you can get. Well, it's 2,000 too many. No, you know, 20,000, as many as you can get, 120,000. But you always need to check, really, and I would suggest that you do a brief audit of their infrastructure. Just check out what they're using, what they have, and how they systemize their flow, right? So that you don't end up in the situation that we found ourselves in, where your competition goes viral and your take-up curve is like this, and then it goes whoosh, like that. And then you know that it's just going to keep growing and growing. And you get that huge peak that just keeps going. And then the client pulls the plug because it takes them too far out of their comfort zone. So do audit the back end of the business. And if you're, you know, a brand owner who's using UpViral, audit your own back end and make sure that stuff is in place. Even if you have to delay your competition by a few months, it's important you have that in place. Just focus on the value exchange that is going on. Put yourself in the shoes of somebody who either doesn't know your brand or is maybe on your list but doesn't really hear from you that often, or you know, you need to build a relationship. Think about how your competition or how your sweepstake is going to appear to them. You know, is it going to be appealing? Is it going to engage them? Will they just go, oh, it's another thing that I enter and then I forget about, right? Because you want them to be emotionally engaged and invested in promoting this, and you want them to get the most successful outcome for you. And like Elixiri did with its social proof, it got all of those clients engaged and emotionally invested in helping Elixiri to do really well with its campaign. And they were sharing like crazy because they felt, you know, so invested in the outcome. So it is a relationship exercise. When you get the opt-in, that is something, a seed that needs to be cultivated, right? It's not a wallet that you can open and take money from. It's a seed that you need to plant and nurture and cultivate. Just see it that way. And, you know, if you want to, if you're, for example, your average first transaction is $200, then, you know, you can't really offer something of low value, but then expect to attract a big fish that's going to spend $200 with you, right? It's all relevant. If you're going to land a big fish, you need to think about how you invest in the relationship and what you offer through the competition, right? I know it seems obvious, but you'd be surprised at how many people forget. So marketing 101, the strategy is really important. Make sure there is a strategy in place before you start. And again, you know, as William said, the plan is you don't make money on the first transaction. Okay, it might break even, but it's the follow-up that counts, the nurturing, the growing, you know, the investing in the relationship. So IO is irresistible offer. Build the funnel or the follow-up campaign and make an irresistible offer. Okay, so in the end of the follow-up campaign, there might be a small percentage of people who want to raise their hand and say, I'm ready now. So you can try them with a one-off irresistible offer and see if they bite. And if they do, you've got some good conversions on the end, which is what we did with Elixiri. And if they don't, then there's nothing lost because you're just getting to know that new audience, right? Have your onboarding in place. This is a series of either videos or emails or interactive page, or if you have an app where you bring that new person into the fold, you show them what you're about, you show them how you're going to improve things for them, okay? So you need, yes, this is understanding about how you calculate return on investment. When you're looking at acquisition, there is a specific formula. So if when you're looking at your money, you're looking at the success of the campaign and you're measuring the performance of it, right? You can look at it from a purely return on advertising spend, okay? You can look at it purely from a how much budget we put aside to create this campaign, including the cost of the prize and all of these other things. But that's not how it works, because essentially what you're doing with this huge list of leads is that they're going to be your future business, right? So what you need to do is look at, there is a formula which calculates your natural attrition rate, okay? Also the value of a new customer. First of all, the value on their average first transaction value, but also their average value as a customer lifetime value. And there is a specific formula that you use to calculate the return of investment of an acquisition. And it's not just a snapshot in time, it's actually a formula that looks at how much of a customer is worth over the lifetime that they spend with you, the average lifetime, what is the average first transaction value, and by the way, that's your budget for how much to invest in this acquisition. And also, what's your natural attrition rate? How many new people, new clients do you need to get just to replace or keep up, maintain parity with your natural attrition rate, whether it's 15% or 10% a year or whatever. All businesses have a natural attrition anyway. So the budget, how much do you need to spend on the acquisition? Well, your limit should be the value of the first transaction, right? So look at your conversions, look at your cold traffic conversions, if you like. Look at the conversion ratio and then calculate from those how many will have a first transaction with you, what the value of that is, and that's the value of your budget for acquisition. Okay, you shouldn't go beyond that when it comes to spending. Really over deliver when it comes to relationship building and be very informal, very conversational, very personable with them, and as many sort of live elements that you can do rather than pre-recorded and automated, do that, because they really want to feel you know, that they're connected with you, right? So bring them into something live rather than just sending them some pre-recorded stuff and stuff they can download. That will work best during the acquisition process. What we've really learned as well is that you make a lot of the post campaign, right? Make a big splash, the unboxing, or the handing of the check, or the courier coming up with the box. And even if you can have a film crew there, if it's a big prize, you know, and do the unboxing or the unveiling, and then kind of get a little, you know, vignette on them. How do they feel about it? How's it changed their life? You know, what advice would they give to other people? Write those really nice feel-good things and make sure that it's distributed on social media and all of your other Marcoms networks as well. What do people want? They want prizes. Yes, they're lovely, but really what they want is attention. Attention is the new currency. So make this very hands-on and as labor-intensive as possible when it comes to the front end, so that you're doing a lot of engagement. That's really going to up your results. Overall, in the 4 or 5 years, so we took UpViral from the initial launch when it was first brought out by Wilco, and we've been using it ever since. And we found, and we've probably got 80 plus tools in marketing that we use in terms of our services. And UpViral is the single tool we use that is an absolute barometer for a brand. I can do an UpViral campaign, and based on the results and what's even happening during the campaign, let alone the results, will tell me right away what the quality of the audience is. And the quality of the audience is a direct reflection of the quality of the company, right? How well they build a relationship with them, how they invest in the relationship, how close they bring their audience. It's an indication of brand quality, brand following quality. You know, you can see a brand has like 1 million followers, 2 million followers, but when you do a UpViral campaign and you see what kind of results they get, that will tell you actually if this is just a vanity brand or if they have a real, you know, affinity with their audience and if there's real value there. The campaign performance will tell you everything you need to know about how well that brand manages their customer relationship management. Most importantly, it will tell you about their real market value. The real market value is, you understand what a sale is. When a customer purchases from you, that is an expression of your value, your market value, right? So if you have low market value, even if you have a huge list, then you're not going to meet your sales targets or your growth targets or anything else, your referral targets. But if you have a really high quality engagement, a really high quality audience, and you haven't just rinsed them through with newsletters, every week or every month, then you're going to be growing, and you're going to see good growth figures, you're going to see good sales figures, and you won't even have to ask for it. So it is the real UpViral is the real acid test. And we do a small campaign with a brand, and I just know if they're going to make it or not. It's as simple as that. It is a really clear indicator. So the mechanics of setting up, using the UpViral as a resource and a tool, setting that up is important, that, you've got congruency, first of all, in your images, in your colors, in your graphics, in the key messages and the value messages. All of that is really important, from the promotion at the front end, the social media, the landing page, the share page, and the follow-up campaign, and even through to a sales page if you have that. But the most important thing is the relationship that you have with the client and the stakeholders, or if you're the brand, the relationship that you have with your customers and your existing audience, because they're the people that you're asking to introduce their friends and colleagues into your business. So if you want them to invest in your business, you need to invest in the relationship with them as well.
Wow, that was like, I asked a question like, what are your insights from the campaign? Would you do anything better? Wow, like Nina, I don't even know what to say. This went from a live interview to a live masterclass, I would say, on UpViral.
Yes. Well,
That
I just wanted
amazing.
to give the most value, from everything that we learned about using UpViral with a range of clients.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for putting together this document. For everyone that is here live with us right now, show some love for Nina in the chat. She spent time and effort to put this together for you today. So show her some love in the chat. Okay?
Thank you, Nino. Yes, AJ, I came prepared. Hopefully I've answered your question as well. Thanks, Deborah.
So, and naturally, because of this, we have some people, as we were going through it, I was seeing some people are asking whether they could get access. Yes, whether they could get access to this document. So is that something that you could share with us? We can upload it with a replay. Okay.
Yeah. I'll put it on my Google Drive and add a share link, and then I guess send that to you, William?
Yeah, send that to me, and I will add it tomorrow with the replay. I will add a link to this document.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much, Nina, for putting this together. That's
you.
Really amazing. Okay. And so we will be wrapping things up in a few minutes. I want to go through some of the questions that we got in the chat. We got some really good questions as well. But before we do that, let me actually, because I was speaking with Nina over email before jumping on this call, and she was so kind that she accepted to share the campaign she did with Elixiri. Okay, so I'm gonna add it here in the chat. So let me send this to both panelists and attendees. I'm gonna campaign. There you have it. You have the campaign share link from Nina that she used for this client, Elixiri. Okay, that you can now import into your account in one click. So again, like, show some love to Nina in the chat. And yeah, let's kick off with some of the questions.
Amazing.
So,
thank you, everyone. Thank you. I'm so glad you got some value from it.
Okay, so let me see. Let me scroll up. So we have a question here from Lenny. He's asking, what email platform was the client using? I think you covered that. It was MailChimp?
MailChimp, right? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Then a question from AJ. He's basically asking, how do you know when the viral effect kicks in?
Right. The reason how you know is that every campaign has kind of a tempo, right? And you can expect to see a few peaks. For example, I've got a client now who maintains their business in a way that they have very close relationship with their whole following. And the way that they do that is through a lot of live work, a lot of live events that they do pretty much 4 or 5 days a week on Facebook. They also have some live Zooms that they're invited to, depending on their tier. And they do a lot of live work, and it's very much, you get a snapshot of that person, because the brand is the founder, basically. You get a snapshot of that person, you know, their life, where they're going, what's happening that day, responding to current affairs, etc. So every time that somebody does a live, you can expect a peak, right, in opt-ins, and then it kind of goes down to the previous tempo again. But what happens when you start to go viral is that you hit a peak and another peak, and it just keeps going. You might have a few dips in between, but you get that curve, you get that line that if you join the peaks, the line is going up exponentially. And you know, on a regular day, you might get 100 opt-ins, but on a peak day, you know, that might be 1,000 just within half an hour or something. So if your clients are, or if you are doing a live, you will expect a peak. But if you want to maintain that, you've got to maintain that direct engagement, right? Direct engagement in the chat, and also do some lives. And I think depending on what you're offering through UpViral, whether it's a prize or something else, it's important that you do some marcoms around that, right? Don't make it all just about, this is the prize, to get the prize, share more. This is just to remind you, this is the prize. If you want to get the prize, share more. Last chance, if you want to get, you know, that's just kind of mechanics, right? That's the basic plumbing. If you want to see spectacular results, then you need to, for example, if the prize is being sponsored, bring in the sponsor and do a little interview with them, and you know, get some background on that, so that there's a story behind it. People can engage with a story and really bring them in. So when they've opted in, you really bring them in, and you bring them into these, you know, almost face to face. Hey, I'm the face behind the brand, behind this competition, and you know, we thought you'd love this because, and this is what we're giving away, and this is how we came to, you know, think of this prize for you, and what do you think of it? And you can get real-time feedback as well. So what happens is, when you're really at the grassroots and you're really engaging in real time, you like, your viral line just does this, right? And it just keeps going and going and going. And then even if you stop all the promotions, you stop all the boosts, all the AdWords, you know, all of your Google, everything, and you just rely solely on organic traffic, it just, you know, the escalates, it gets faster and faster and faster. That's how you know it's going viral.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a great answer. Thank you, Nina. And then we have a question from Deborah. I think this is in relation to what we were talking about at the beginning of the interview, in regards to that the client was scared of the campaign being too successful, and they pulled it off. So she's basically asking, what was the expected impact from the client of having a campaign that is too successful?
Okay, well, if I can be very real with you here, very realistic, This is real life. And what you find in the market, depending, some agencies only deal with 20, 30, 50, 100 grand projects, right? But agencies like us, we deal with the small guys too. So, you know, when you're dealing with small businesses, there is a lack of fundamental understanding about these things. And generally it's the first time they're going through something like this when they come to you and you have an UpViral campaign. So what happens is that a small business generally, you know, they've tried Facebook ads, they've tried email marketing, you know, they've tried print ad, they've maybe tried some other above the line stuff, you know, London Underground or whatever, some billboards perhaps, and maybe advertising in those free luxury magazines that you get, like the city magazines or the real estate magazines. And they found that, you know, obviously the outlay has been quite a lot and the ROI has been nil or very little, because those forms of marketing only work if you've got a bigger budget and you do them consistently over a longer period of time. So I think when they start out, if they're really honest with themselves, they don't think that it's going to work. They think that they're going to be right at the end of it. So they can say, oh, I knew it wouldn't work for us. You know, nothing works for us really, and we tried it.
Yeah.
So when within the first week or so, you know, you've got more opt-ins than they've had all year. They don't know, they don't have a frame of reference for it, and it just kind of, it really unnerves them, right? Because they panic, they just panic. And when someone's in panic mode, they don't really listen to logic or reason. And they just think, all they're thinking is, oh my God, how am I going to handle 3,000 leads? How am I going to handle 10,000 leads? How am I going to process 20,000 leads? And that's because they don't have any infrastructure. It's them and maybe a part-time marketing person and MailChimp, and that's all they've got, you know? And that sounds a bit mom and pop, cottage industry, but actually it's quite common. That's quite a common setup really, even for brands that are doing 6-7 figures. So yeah, so that's what happens. And you know, we found that maybe in a third of companies we've worked with, which is quite a significant number.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Actually, even in big companies, I did one multinational corporation, and they just had a meltdown when you give them the opt-in list and you're giving them like the reports, and you know, you're refining and tweaking the kind of marketing engine as you're going through the campaign. And you can see like their eyes become like in the headlights, you know, and oh my God, what are we going to do?
Like, it's amazing to see how the company's growth is very linked to the mindset of the business owner or the most senior levels at the company, where their own like limitations in their head also limit the growth of the company. I'm almost tempted on my website to put it in 2 pathways. We have one pathway for business owners who have the realization of their own limitations, and they're okay with that. And they get out their own way, and they let professionals come in and take it to the next level. Or on the other side, if you are a company that you like control, you like to be involved in every step, you like to approve everything and control, you know, the imagery and have creative sign off on everything, and won't let an email go out without you seeing it first, then take this pathway, right? Because those people are the ones that are going to pull the plug when they start to get results, whereas the other ones are the ones that will grow outside of their own limitations, and you know, they'll allow people to just build it for them. So and you're absolutely right, those are 2 mindsets, and there's nothing in between. It's one or the other. And I've got clients like that who won't get out their own way, and it's painful. Perhaps you know, they could be growing and making so much more money, but they just won't get out their own way. True. Yeah. And perhaps you can test it, you know, to put it on the website, 2 separate call to actions, see what happens.
I'm going to do that. I really am.
Good. Then we have here like Lenny asking a question, because you also said that you audit, or it's really recommended as a marketing agency to audit the capacity of a client. And their infrastructure mainly. So how do you plan to foresee their capacity, and what can be adjusted to control the outcome of the results of the campaign?
When it all happens in the very first meeting, in those kinds of people, the kind of, you know, founders that you work with that have that almost have that, you know, script going on in their own head, I think you get a sense of that with the kind of probing questions that you ask. And I think just don't be satisfied with basic answers. You need to probe, and you need to dig a little bit and really find out what their expectations are. What do they really want? They say they want sales, but what do they really want? You know, they say they want a bigger list, but what do they really want? And just keep digging until you get there. And you will, you know, within a few questions, you'll get to the point where they'll say, you know, I'm just so frustrated. We've tried this, we've tried this, we've tried this. And actually, you know, it's just been a waste of money. So, you know, we're just going to try this, and we like you and we believe in you, and other people have said it's worked for them. So we're going to give you a chance. And that's great, they're in. But the issue is then you've got to do an audit and you know, really find out. It's about them being like exposing their weaknesses, right? You're asking them to be vulnerable with you. and that scares them. So you've got to handle it in be professional, but also personable.
Yeah, great tips there. Okay, and then I will answer this question from Jeff.
Walk away. You can walk away if you think they're going to be, you know, I mean, sometimes if you need the business, you take the business, but when you do that, often ends up costing you way more than if you just walked away and, you know, gone for something else. So you know, if you really walk out of the first few meetings and go, oh, this is going to be a nightmare, then just say, look, I don't think it's for us, and walk away.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, like you say, it can cost more to stick with a customer and work with them than to walk away and find other clients that are a better fit.
Yes.
So yeah, cool. So I will answer this question here from Jeff. He's saying, can you give a high-level overview of the campaign elements like Facebook advertising, UpViral contest, and follow-up emails? So I will give a very high-level overview of what we covered in the last 90 minutes. And if there is anything that I missed, Nina, definitely feel free to add. But so basically, it started by generating traffic from Facebook and Instagram with some posts that were published there, and then with a $500 budget to boost some posts. That sent traffic to the opt-in page where people would sign up with their name and email to win the prize, which is basically the product of the company, which is a serum, right? Is that correct? It's a serum, is the prize that they were giving away. And then on the share page, it would encourage people to share, and also across Facebook and Messenger mainly. And then also to refer others to the campaign. Then after that, there would be some engagement emails with user-generated content that was posted across the social media channels. And then at the end, when the campaign was closed, there were some follow-up emails, 9 emails in total that went out over the course of 20 days. Half indoctrination to get them to know the company, but also with an offer, which generated $4,900 in sales. That is like a really high-level overview of the campaign. Did I cover everything, or did I miss any important elements in there?
That's it.
That's it. Okay, cool. And then from Lenny, we have some short questions here. Is this product available worldwide or to the UK only?
Which
this
product?
Is worldwide. The one that was in the competition.
Oh yeah, it's the worldwide.
It's worldwide, yeah. Then did you add, during the campaign, during that 20 days, did you add any new actions as days went by to get people to do other things?
I don't think that actions were available. They maybe have been available then, and we may have just overlooked them, but I don't think they were available.
Yeah, I think so. I think they were available, but
oh, you think they were? No, we didn't. It was a really straightforward, basic level campaign, very simple. Yeah, we didn't add any incentives or any actions or custom actions at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you use double opt-in?
No, actually, because of the license type I have, it was just an export and import of the CSV at the end of the campaign.
Yeah. Okay.
So when we sent out the first email from the follow-up campaign, or even the pre-email, it wasn't to confirm a double opt-in. So obviously, you know, people can just opt out anyway if they unsubscribe at any time. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Then I see some questions here in the chat as well, about multiple questions about the document with the insights that you prepared. So I will be uploading that tomorrow with the replay. You will be able to access it in the UpViral Learning Center. Lenny is asking, did you run into any issues or limitations using UpViral? Anything that you would like UpViral to add or anything?
No, none at all, actually. I think when we first started using it, we were a bit frustrated that, you know, because we're used to building landing pages with just drag and drop custom elements and things. And I think we were hoping it would be like that, where you could add a, you know, an element and then, you know, add an image placeholder and fill it and do this and do that. And obviously UpViral templates are quite set in what you can and can't do with them. But actually we were doing all these sophisticated, amazing looking landing pages, but people, the simple ones provided the best results. And I think people, if you think about, again, put yourself into the shoes of the audience that you want to engage with, and think about how they might come across your particular thing, right? Because there might be when they're scrolling through Instagram and they see your story, or they see you on like the discovery page, or on a, you know, now you've got YouTube Shorts, of course, or TikTok or Facebook. Unless they're following the brand already, which they're probably not because you want to grow the list, then, you know, they're just seeing you when they're scrolling on something else. So they didn't intentionally come to find you. So you just want to have one clear core message that is really easy to understand in less than 1 second. They take one action and that's it, they share it, and that's all you want them to do right then. Yeah. Okay,
great. And I'm scrolling here through the questions, and we have a couple more. So from Christine Best, we have a question. When you sign a client, like, do you go through the back end with your client to make sure that they have a funnel on the back end to deal with the surge of new leads that you will generate from the contest? Or do you actually go through their back end?
Let me tell you, you have to hustle for this one, right? Because the person that is making the decision on whether to invest in this campaign or not is not the person that knows anything about systemization or marketing infrastructure or automation flows or anything. So all they know is they tell somebody else to do something and it gets done, right? So even if they're a small company, so the founder that you're meeting with, you have to get them on board, get them engaged, set their expectations, get them to share the contact details with the collaborators, who's going to collaborate with you, like who's going to look after the graphics with me, or are we doing graphics? You know, who's your marketing person, who's your web developer, or do you use one, etc., etc. Because quite often if you're building a sales page at the back end, I mean, we usually end up doing it, you know, ourselves, because usually they don't have the resources or the capacity to build a good sales page. So you have to kind of hustle, you know, it's up to you. You've got to take the initiative to reach out to the marketing person, and you've got to really sell it to them and get them on board, because if they don't support it, they'll be really difficult to work with, and they almost, not really sabotage, but, you know, they're not particularly interested in making you look good, because, you know, it's kind of a threat to their position. That's how it's perceived internally. So you have to do all the running, and you have to make all the effort and get people on board and almost coordinate them without treading on anyone's toes.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nina. And then the final question from the chat is, Nina, you're so organized. I'm wondering if you created some kind of campaign client system or checklist when you onboard a client.
You know, I have it in my head at the moment, and it's just the voice of experience. That's because I've been burned so many times, and that comes from experience. But that's actually a really good idea. Is it Deborah that mentioned that? Yeah. I think that's a good idea, that I could actually create that and perhaps even add it to the website as a resource that marketers can download, for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
I could sell it, yes, definitely.
Yeah. Like I say, Nina, like this has been a masterclass more than an interview. Okay, but I just copy pasted Nina's campaign share link once again in the chat, so that you can click it and add it to your account. Okay, and but yeah, the last question that I want to ask you, Nina, is where can people find out more about you if they want to connect with you or with a Thrive Market Leader?
So you can go to thrivemarketleader.io, but I will put my contact details in the insight sheet that William is going to upload. So you can download that in a few days and you'll be able to find me. Otherwise, you know my name, you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can go to my website, all the social media sites are the same, Thrive Market Leader, and you can connect with me there, and I'll be very happy to connect with you anytime.
Cool. I just added the link to the website in the chat as well, thrivemarketleader.io. Okay.
And I'm just going to put in here, if I put in 7988, this is my WhatsApp. Okay, that's the best way to get me. Yeah.
Nina, thank you so much. Anything else that you would like to add before we wrap things up?
You know, probably I'm a bit of a talker. I think we should leave it there. It's all will be going on for 2 hours. People have got lives to lead, you know.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Okay. Cool. So with that, we'll wrap it up. Next week.
Happy to come back on as another guest at some point in the future if there's more you want from me, for sure.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Like,
thanks,
keep us
Christine.
posted on the client's results that you get, and we can definitely do another episode with another campaign review.
Excellent.
Okay. But then I just want to let everyone know in the audience that next week on Tuesday, we will have Mitch in the house doing providing tailored advice to your own campaigns. So watch out for the email invites with a link where you can submit your campaign. And then he will provide with detailed advice and tailored advice to your own campaign. Okay, so that will be next week, Tuesday, same time, same place. Yeah, with that,
I'll be there.
I will, have an amazing day ahead, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you, Nina. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Thanks.